Dun, 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 dun. Hey, everybody, this is me, True Power's Mine, and this is, hey, baby, and this is a special report. President Trump's remark at Atlanta. Oh, this is amazing. Thank you, confidential informant, for bringing this to my attention.
For the most part, I never even heard of these people. I have no idea who they are.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your courage to be here, because in the society that we live in today, it takes a lot of courage to say that you're supporting President Trump. And, it's really quite interesting how people have tried to manipulate people and how to intimidate people and change their minds. This has been going on since we've been in America. You go back to the days of slavery, and in a lot of the states, there were more slaves than there were owners. So what did they do? They had to divide the slaves. So they told the ones in the house, you're better than the ones in the yard. And the ones in the yard, you're better than the ones in the field. And then after slavery was over, the light-skinned ones, you're better than the dark-skinned ones. And on it went, trying to divide people. And today, they say, if you are a conservative, then you are somehow an Uncle Tom, you're a horrible person, you're a demon. What a bunch of crap, but it's been going on for hundreds of years, and it's really time to put a stop to it. So I am very happy to see that you have the courage to come out. It doesn't bother me anymore, because I only worry about what God thinks. I don't worry about what these other people think. But sometimes people ask me, what happened to you? You changed. I haven't changed. I changed about 35 years ago, because you see, I grew up in Detroit, a bastion of liberalism. They call it progressivism now. They keep changing the name. But anyway, then from there to Boston, a bastion of liberalism. Back to Detroit, and then to New Haven, Connecticut, a bastion of liberalism, and then to Ann Arbor, Michigan, a bastion of liberalism, and then to Baltimore, Maryland, a bastion of liberalism. So I had no chance. I was a liberal. I was way out there. And then I did something that liberals are never supposed to do. I listened to a conservative. I listened to Ronald Reagan, and I said, he doesn't sound like a horrible racist person. He sounds just like my mother. And at that point, I started thinking for myself. And that made a big difference. It made a big difference in my medical career, too. I didn't do what everybody else did. I always started thinking out of the box. How do you solve this problem? And that's the reason that God gave us these complex brains. Your brain has billions and billions of neurons, hundreds of billions of interconnections. It remembers everything you've ever seen, everything you've ever heard. It can process more than 2 million bits of information in 1 second. Would God give you something like that just so that you can be a sheep and follow what somebody else tells you to do, or to think for yourself? And don't you find it fascinating that so many people say the president's a racist? He's a horrible racist and everything he does. Well, it seems to me like some years ago, Jesse Jackson actually gave the president an award in New York City because he opened so many opportunities for Black people. Is that what a racist does? And then when he moved to Palm Beach, he was right on the forefront to fighting the clubs who were not admitting Jews and Blacks. Does that sound like what a racist would do? He is the one who finally got the Second Chance Act done. Does that sound like what a racist would do? When he took office, he brought the office of HBCUs to the White House so it could get appropriate attention, more money than ever. Opportunity zones so that people could take this money and direct it to the places where people did not have opportunities before. An economy where you have the lowest unemployment rates for Black people in history. And it goes on and on and on. Let me tell you something. If he's a racist, he's an awfully bad one. He needs to go get a lesson from the real racists. The people who look at somebody like you and me and they say, because your skin is a certain color, you have to think a certain way. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you. And they start calling you names. Those are the real racists. But you know, the president believes that a rising tide lifts all boats. He doesn't believe in identity politics, and that's why he's doing things that work for everybody. And we should be happy about that. And the media, they like to pick on him, any little thing. You know, he's not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. The only one who ever was perfect was Jesus, and they crucified him. So, you know, think about this. And we need to just look at the big picture, think about all the incredible things that are happening, think for ourselves, and be missionaries. Go out and talk to your family, talk to your friends, help them to realize, because see, if all they're doing is looking at certain media, they don't even know about these things that we just talked about that he has done. And so they can perpetrate this horrible image of him being a bad person. It is absolutely not true. I work with him all the time. He's a wonderful person. He's become a good friend. You remember during the campaign when we were having a debate, and I couldn't hear my name. I came out, I stood there, I was waiting to hear everybody else gleefully walk past. He was the only one who stood with me until they straightened it out. That's the kind of person that our president is. He is my friend, and he will be your friend as you get to know him. Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee.
All right, I'm not going to play that part because that's a copyright, I'm sure. Brother Al, Sister Kathy, Love, Brother Fred, Brother Marty Brown. Welcome to the show. We're just going to hold on. I just don't want to play that song. And I can't really fast forward without losing it. So as they're playing this little track, Ben Carson was tripping, wasn't he? Yeah. I mean, by his own admission. He's just total letdown like Obama. You know, him and Steve Harvey could have made the what's that, Future Homes or some shit that Steve Harvey was talking about when he met the president. Apparently, you know, Trump just played him for stupid. Took a photo shoot with him, and the rest is history. My God, they're playing the full song, aren't they? No, they're playing the full song. Sorry, everybody.
I want to thank you, and I'll tell you what.
Here we go.
We're doing well. We have our best employment numbers, and we're going to get into it. But the support we're getting from the African-American community has been overwhelming, and I want to thank each and every one of you for your courage and tenacity and devotion to really what's turning out to be a movement. This was like a movement in 2016. There was a movement of a lot of people.
Yeah, a bowel movement.
And by the way, you made up a good portion of that movement. You know that. Diamond and Silk. Oh, you're so great. So great. And I hear you knocking them dead. You're all over the place. That's good. It's the way it's supposed to work, right? Someday you'll have to save a ticket for me. I'll walk in with the first lady and we'll be happy. Good. Seriously, when you're in Washington, I want you to let me know. Great job you're doing. Really appreciate it. With your help, we're going to travel all across the country to every community, urban, rural, and suburban, and we're going to campaign for every last African American vote in 2020. From the beginning of our campaign, we took on the Washington lobbyists and the special interests and corporate media. See how that's working?
Yeah, we see the oil pipeline polluting hundreds of thousands of crude oil up there in Dakota into the Indians' water supply. because you're such oil man. I'm sorry, folks. I have to break this up for copyright purposes. We saw that basically the wars haven't stopped either. Let's continue.
They come at you, but you know what? We're winning. We're winning like nobody's ever won before. We took on the corrupt media. A lot of it's corrupt. And the political establishment that has failed America for decades and failed the African American community for decades. And we're starting to learn about things that we never thought were possible even. Exactly 3 years ago tonight, on November 8th, 2016, the people spoke and we took our country back. And that's what's happening.
With the help of the Electoral College. Because don't forget, he lost the popular vote.
We won an extraordinary victory for all Americans. And 1 year from now, we're going to win another incredible victory. And we are going to do it with a groundswell of support from hardworking African-American patriots. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, because all together, we've never done better. We've never done better than we're doing now. The Republican Party was the original home of African-Americans, and now African-Americans are returning. It was a 100-year trip, if you think about it. Paris, it was 100 years, right? And now you return. And coming back to the Republican Party, people forget Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. We have to remember that. And you're coming back.
And don't forget, it was those racist Democrats down in the South that beat your ass and made you vote Democratic. Don't forget that shit. Which are now Republicans.
In record numbers, we're going to make 2020 a chance. We're going to give it really something. We're going to make it a chance that you take, but it's not a chance because you know exactly what's happening. You've seen, you know, when I first came out and started talking about vote for me, that was taking a chance because I wasn't a politician. Now everything I said has come true, except more so, much more than we ever thought possible. When we look at the numbers, and we're going to go into the numbers, we're going to make 2020 a year of change in Black communities all across the country. We've already been doing it. And Black Americans will join our mission to protect their jobs, defend their safety, and to create a brighter future for every citizen. Together, we will make America greater than ever before. And that's what's happening right now, and you're a big part of what's going on. We're delighted to be joined by Harrison Floyd of our Black Voices Coalition. Fantastic. Where's Harrison? Where's Harrison? Harrison, you didn't even get a good location there. Huh?
They all look alike. It's hard to differentiate you, boy.
That's why you're doing so well, actually. You'll let other people have that good location. Harrison, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Great job you're doing. And our terrific co-chairs, Herman Cain and Pastor Darrell Scott. Thank you, Darrell. Come up here, Darrell. Will you please? This guy, I watched him. He's so tough. I said, is he really a pastor? He's the toughest guy I've ever seen. He would take them apart. He would go into the enemy territory, fake news like CNN. He would take them apart. That was easy for you, though, wasn't it? Huh? Do you want to say a couple of words? Did you speak before? Come on, say, come.
God bless everybody. One thing I learned from watching this
man, he just grabbed him like an old dog. Then come up here, boy, and do a little dance for us.
master debater was, if I can't win the debate, I'll turn it into an argument. I might lose the debate, but I'm not going to lose the argument. But listen, there's a scripture in the Bible. Jesus said of Abraham, he said, Abraham rejoiced to see my day. And he saw it and was glad. And we rejoice to see this day. We see it. We're glad about it. You know, in 2015, 2016, a handful of Black people were courageous enough to come forward and publicly announce their support for then candidate Donald Trump, and not only announce support, but actively stump for him. Diamond and Silk and Paris Denard and too many. I don't want to leave anybody out, but we saw the day when people would hear us. For every 5 persons that criticized us, 1 person would hear us. And that one person caused another person to hear them. And you know, courage is courageous. Once somebody steps up to the plate, others say, well, I can step up to the plate if they can do it. Now look at us. And you ain't seen nothing yet. This ain't nothing here. This is just a seed. Wait till we see the harvest in 2020.
Yeah, great point. Wait until, look at that pose. Yeah, wait until you see the harvest of his masters. It's going to be a celebration, Yao. Let's continue.
Fantastic guy. He's a champ. And again, Diamond and Silk, I really appreciate you being here so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And a very special thanks to someone who has been with us right from the beginning. Katrina. Where's Katrina? Katrina Pearson. And I met her, one of the first people I met. In fact, I don't think I was even running then, right? I said, I'm thinking about running. She said, that's a good idea. And I guess it was a good idea because here we are. We go back to that beautiful Oval Office, right? And we do a lot of things for a lot of people. Thank you, Katrina. Great job you've done. Thank you. And a very special woman who is constantly defending me. Sometimes I don't need it, but sometimes I do. Alvita King. She's a great woman. Great woman. And we don't forget. We will never forget. Thank you, Alvita. And we're delighted to be joined as well by former Governor Sonny Perdue. Where's Sonny? And now he's the head of agriculture. Sonny Perdue, the great Sonny Perdue. He's given away a lot of the money from China. We take in the money from China. We hand it over to the farmers, right? And Mrs. Perdue. So Sonny's now as you know, Secretary of Agriculture. And he's done an incredible job. Thank you, Sonny, very much. What a job. Thank you. And we have Senator David Perdue. Where is David? Where is the great David Perdue, your senator? And I just want to thank you, David. You have been so instrumental in the success of the state. We're doing well in the state. When we were campaigning, it wasn't really doing so good, Georgia, and now it's doing phenomenally well. So we want to thank David. We want to thank you. We want to thank you, great Governor Brian. I don't know if Brian's around here someplace, I think. Brian, this state's doing much better than it was when you came in, Brian. Brian Kemp, a lot better. So thank you, Brian and David and Sonny and everybody. You're incredible people. And we also have a couple of warriors that are incredible and have been right from the beginning. They help us with all of these witch hunts. Every week it's a different witch hunt. And we have Representative Rick Allen, you know, Rick. Thank you, Rick. Representative, meaning Congressman Buddy Carter. Buddy. These are people they fight. Jody Heiss, you know. Jody is great. And a warrior like a few people have ever seen before. I watched him during the Mueller hearing. And a lot of people were very, very nervous when he started going after everyone. And he's been incredible and right at the forefront. And he's also a special man. His name is Congressman Doug Collins. Thank you. Great job. Great job. Thank you. Thank you. See, they like you, Doug. They better like you. Does a great job for the state. We also have a first lady in this room. You know, our first nationwide. It's very popular, right? But you have a first lady in Georgia named Marty Kemp, who's really popular. Is Marty here? She's here. Good. She loves the people. She loves her state. She loves everything about it. And she's made life a lot easier because life is not so easy for Brian. He's out there working all the time. So I want to thank you, Marty, very much. Thank you very much for being here. Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan. Former terrific baseball player, by the way, for those of you that don't know, right, Jeff? Your Georgia Attorney General, Chris Carr. Chris has done a real job. Thank you, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Great job. And the Attorney General-elect of Kentucky is here. He's become a big star. I don't know. I don't know. We had a great Kentucky, but we got no credit for it. We had a man running for governor who really worked hard, but he was down a lot and almost won, and maybe he will. I think he's contesting it. Is that right? I think he's contesting it. But we brought him up 19 points. And then the media said that was a bad night for Trump. But we also won 5 of 6 of the races. And the first African-American attorney general in Kentucky's history. This is going to be a...
Yeah, once again, guys, let's not get off on the skin color of the individual, because what's on the inside of the first African-American attorney general? What type of mind, what type of consciousness is operating that body? That's the real question. And that's for all people, even Trump. What type of spirit is running him?
Star. Let's see if I'm right about it. I predicted you. Daniel Cameron. Daniel, you're there someplace? Great job, Daniel. So proud of you. Wow. He won by a lot. It was a lot of fun we had. We were there the night before, and it was some evening. But that was a tremendous record. You set a record, as you know, for what you were running for. It's been a long time, too. When I ran for office 3 years ago, I looked at the bleak, dismal record of the Democrat Party and asked the African-American community, what the hell do you have to lose, right? What do you have to lose?
Your freedom.
And I came off stage that night and all these professional handlers, right? I don't have too many handlers, but they say, sir, I don't think they're going to like that. I said, no, look, because I read a list. Last in crime, last in this, last in home ownership.
What he just said, did you catch what he just said? His handlers said, sir, I don't think they're going to. It shows you that his handlers are out of touch with what black folks want. And he's letting you know, he sent out a code there. If you didn't catch it, he sent out a code. His handlers are disconnected from the people.
Last in the economy, lowest wages, all of this stuff. And I said, wait a minute.
Did he just say last in the economy, lowest? Hold on. Listen to this.
General in Kentucky's history. This is going to be a star. Let's see if I'm right about it. I predicted you. Daniel Cameron. Daniel, you're there someplace? Great job, Daniel. So proud of you. Wow. He won by a lot. It was a lot of fun we had. We were there the night before, and it was some evening. But that was a tremendous record. You set a record, as you know, for what you were running for. It's been a long time, too. When I ran for office 3 years ago, I looked at the bleak, dismal record of the Democrat Party and asked the African-American community, what the hell do you have to lose, right? What do you have to lose? And I came off stage that night and all these professional handlers, right? I don't have too many handlers, but they say, sir, I don't think they're going to like that. I said, no, look, because I read a list. Last in crime, last in this, last in home ownership, last in the economy, lowest wages, all of this stuff. And I said, wait a minute, I'm just reading off a list. And I said, wait a minute. And that's when I said it. It wasn't as part of the script. I do my best work off script. My best work. I hate to say this. I also do my worst work off script. So you never get in trouble when you go by the script, right, Paris? No, I do my best and my worst work.
Amen, Sister Barbara. We're still last. So, I'm asking you out. What have you gained? He said you have nothing to lose. I'm asking you, what have you gained?
And it makes things very exciting, too. But that was my best work. I mean, it was a very important statement to be made because, honestly, the Democrats have let you down. And then I made you a solemn pledge that whether you voted for me or not, I would be your greatest champion. Okay? And you did. You came out. We did very well. And we're going to do a lot better this time because now you know that we do it. Now it's not just talk. Don't forget, I came not as a politician. I came as a businessman, and I said, we're going to do things that are going to be great. Businessman / television star, right? We had a lot of fun with The Apprentice, but I said, we're going to do a job. And so, but who knew? I mean, a lot of people, they didn't know what I picked good judges. They didn't know a lot. They see what we've done with judges. We We're at 157 federal and Court of Appeal judges. We'll be at 182 soon. A record. It's a record. And we were left by the previous administration 142 judges to fill. Can you imagine that? I thought they may have one. They may have none. I said, how many? Sir, you have 142. I said, you have to be kidding. You have to be kidding. 142. So we'll be at 182, two great Supreme Court judges. And so it's great. Two great justices of the Supreme Court. And we're going to be looking at that whole situation with judges because we have a lot coming due. And it's, there are some saying greatest thing you can do, greatest legacy, most important thing to do for a president. I say military and defense is always most important. Somehow I would say defense. We've totally rebuilt our military. Our military is strong. We did a pretty big number on.
Hell, even added another wing to the military Space Force. And we're building a wall in Colorado, folks.
On al-Baghdadi last week. He didn't know what the hell hit him. I can tell you that. They came in. They weren't playing games. They weren't playing games. They came in on those brand new, those beautiful choppers, and they said they went through the wall. They didn't go through the door, I said, why are they? Because I'm watching this like you watch a movie. Okay, like you watch a movie, and they came through that. They boom, boom, boom. That was dynamite. Boom, they blew a hole. I said, why don't they just walk through the front door? It's called booby traps. I said, that makes sense. But you never saw anything go so quickly, and so it was violent, but it was incredible. It was incredible. He killed a lot of people. He was the founder of ISIS, and ISIS was bad. And when you saw those people in the orange outfits and the horrible.
And the orange outfit coming from an orange band. The reason why we're listening to this, Lonnie, is because this is what the nation is listening to. To be caught up on the speed, to understand the propaganda, the rhetoric, whatever you want to call it, the political analysis, you have to subject yourself to the message. And this is his message. Do I agree with it? Mm-hmm. But it is what it is.
Things that happened to those people in the orange outfits. This is the man, and we took him out, and then we took out his second. And we've got our eye on his third. And I vowed to pour out all of my heart and soul to fight for your families and for your future. That was after, it's true. I was reading that list, that horrible list. It was 10 points. And everyone was the worst for African American. And every single one was the worst. They had statistics, and I'm saying.
And how come he doesn't link this to a plan? He's just telling statistically it shows you worse. And no one's saying, hey, this is a part of a plan that was deployed on you folks. This is a part of a group of men and women who determined that you're unworthy to live. And these are the results. Lowest wages, disruption, corruption of the family, corruption of the mind. But he ain't going to say that. Don't forget, the same master of the Republican is the same master of the Democrat. Controls both sides.
Man, this is really bad. And we took care of it. Now you have from the worst to the best numbers you've had. For decades, the Democrats have taken African-American voters totally for granted. They didn't do anything for you. Democrats have run America's inner cities at every level of government for 50, 60, and 70 years. And really 100 years, I view it. I think Paris, right? 100 years. When Detroit last had a Republican mayor in 1962, it had a strong, beautiful economy. Per capita incomes were among the highest in the nation. And after nearly...
Now, this is where it gets tricky, yeah. 62, really? Strong Detroit. You see, when the people who have the power, which are commonly referred to as white supremacists, are done with a region, all they got to do is just take out the economic stream, take out the economic nourishment, and let nature take its course, because they got the rest of the plan engaged. This is why I keep talking about the damn war of attrition. It ain't one or two battles you're going to win the day. You got to totally change the system and make it a just system for all. If not, then it's just a change of hats.
60 years of really crooked Democrat rule. It's one of the poorest. It was one of the most successful cities in America. Philadelphia has a poverty rate more than double the national average. The city has had a Democrat mayor every year since 1952. 20 out of 20 most dangerous cities in America last year were run by Democrats. I'd say that's not too good.
This is what I'm saying, what Sister Barbara just said. Oh my God, I am born and raised in Detroit. Jobs left, period. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the show, War. Peace and power. That's what I'm talking about. See how he's using the consequences of the plan that was perpetrated on us. He's using the consequences to justify you voting for him. It's just a damn game. And you better realize you're a participant in this game, whether you want to accept that fact or not.
Nationwide, 58% of murder victims under the age of 22 are African American.
Part of the plan.
America is waking up to the Democrat Party's record of suffering and neglect. That's what it is. They want your vote. They're nice to you just before the election, and then they forget about you for 4 years or 2 years or 6 years or whatever it may be. Then they come and they hit you hard for 3 months, and then they get your vote, and they say bye-bye. No, I see it. I mean, I deal with them all the time. I deal with a crooked politician, this guy Adam Schiff. He's a crooked politician. Nancy Pelosi should go back home to San Francisco and clean up her district. It's falling apart with drugs and with homeless and with all of the problems. It's not the same San Francisco. Of all, California's a mess, is right. Of all of the Washington sellouts that have wounded our nation, none has been worse hit than the Democrat Party's cruel and betrayal. I mean, the betrayal of the Black community is unbelievable what's happened. It's unbelievable. Democrats bowed at the feet of special interests and trapped your children in failing government schools. You look at the schools, worst schools, and we're making a lot of progress, but you have the worst schools of anybody in the country by far. It's not even close. They shipped your jobs overseas with catastrophic and horrible trade deals, which was changing around rapidly. We have to see what happens with U.S. We can't get Nancy Pelosi to approve USMCA. That's between Canada, the United States. It's a phenomenal deal for us. Democrats threw open America's borders to the deadly drugs and ruthless gangs that are all over the place, to mass illegal immigration, which hurts the Black community so badly. They passed crime bills that devastated your communities, and Democrats waged a relentless assault on the cherished values that have always defined African American families. You know that. It's amazing that you've stayed so long, to be honest. It almost becomes a habit, right? It's a habit. Like we vote for a Democrat. Nobody knows why they vote for a Democrat. Look, if they don't.
I just told you why. Back in the day, they'd actually kill your ass or else you lose your job if they found out you didn't vote for old boy. That's how they got Black folks to immigrate from being Republicans to Democrats. It was called, I'm going to bust your ass if you don't vote this way.
Don't do the job, you switch. You got to switch. And some progress has been made like never before, perhaps, in such a short period of time. But under this administration, all of that has changed, and it's changing even faster now. We're undoing the damage inflicted by decades of corrupt Democrat rule and creating a historic tide of new opportunity and prosperity. We've done more for African Americans in 3 years than the broken Washington establishment has done in more than 30 years. We've created 6.7 million new jobs since.
We created 6.7 new wage slaves. Come on. Can I get a witness? That's what wage slavery is.
The election, a number that if I would have said that to the fake news media back there, look at all those cameras. If I would have said that Now, if I would have said that during the campaign, I would have been excoriated. They would have gone wild. How dare he make 6.7 million new jobs? Think of that. Since the election. Last month, the African American unemployment rate reached the lowest level ever recorded in the history of our country. How do you lose that argument in a debate, right? The African.
All you have to do is bring up what type of jobs are being created. Are these jobs that are Boeing or NASA or high-paying jobs? Or are they, hello, sir, would you like pepperoni on your pizza? As he pops a zit in your face.
African American youth unemployment, this was so important to me. You remember how high it was, 60, 70%? Has now reached the lowest number ever recorded in the history of our country. Doing really well.
I'm sorry, I got to break this down for the uninitiated. The way they calculate the unemployment rate is they take all the people who have been actively, released or fired from their present job, but they're working. They're on the unemployment insurance. You know, they call in, hey, I'm looking for a job, blah, 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 and they get their little check a week. All right. Whenever the people stop or whenever a man or woman is not eligible for unemployment anymore and they're not actively seeking a job, they don't count those people. And once again, when you calculate how many good paying jobs there truly are versus how many humans there are that needs a job or needs access to resources, you'll see that there's a huge discrepancy. Now, you can word it any way you want, but I challenge you, brothers and sisters, walk outside your door, drive through your damn city, see if people are prospering in your area or not. And it's self-evident. You don't have to do research. Just go outside your damn door and open your eyes and look. Let's continue.
African American poverty rate has reached an all-time historic low, lowest it's ever been. For the first time ever, most new hires of prime working age are minorities and women. First time that's ever happened. Wages are rising really fast, up 9% since the election, a number that was unthinkable. And they're rising fastest for low-income workers, proportionately.
Yeah, low-income workers. So you're going to work and you ain't going to make shit. And we're going to say it's all great because you have a job, wage slave. You have a job. That's all that matters, ain't it?
They're rising the fastest for the low-income worker. Who would have thought this was going to happen? Almost 2.5 billion.
Anybody who understands economy, anybody who understands the rate of inflation is fixing to go through the damn roof. Yeah, you'll understand why their little pitiful pay is rising, because it'd be too damn obvious that they can't make it. And then who's going to scramble your eggs in the morning at Burger King, or who's going to mop your floor at the office? Who's going to detail the car in the garage? Hell, who's going to be the security guard in the garage? If the worker can't make enough money just to barely be able to look down on another brother and sister, well, at least I'm not bad off as they are. Let's continue.
Americans have been lifted out of poverty since my election, including 150,000 African American children. 150,000. It's a lot. See, when I hear 150,000, a lot of people don't know what it means. You know what it means to me? We fill up Yankee Stadium 3 times. 3. That's a lot of people. To bring investment to neglected communities, we've cut a record number of job-destroying.
Well, what he's talking about there, folks, is gentrification. To bring in resources to devastated communities, that's gentrification.
Regulations more than any administration in history, even though we've been here for a short while by comparison. We passed massive tax cuts for working families, saving the typical family of $4,000 $2,000 a year. And over the last 2 years, my administration has also provided more than $8 billion in contracts and financing to minority-owned small businesses, which alone has resulted in a minimum of 20,000 brand new, beautiful jobs. So with us today are Kelvin and Janelle King from right here in Atlanta. Kelvin is a graduate of the United States Air Force Academy, great place, where he was also all-conference football player. Today, Kelvin and his wife, Janelle, own a general contracting business, and they're doing really well. Kelvin and Janelle, please come up. Say a few words, please. Come on up. He looks so happy. He should be happy.
They all look happy. Smiling faces.
Hi, thank you.
You got bust out singing that one song that Disney had to sing.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This is really cool, by the way. I too am a builder, right? You know, my wife Janelle and I, we own Osprey Management. Osprey is a general contractor, construction firm based here in Georgia. As a businessman, I started Osprey 7 years ago out of my bedroom. And we were able to.
Yeah, that's how Trump started his business. You know what, 40-something years ago, out of his bedroom, when he walked out of it and walked into his daddy's room. Hey, Daddy, can you give me a loan for a few $1 million? I want to start me a business. He's just like you, buddy.
Eventually generate enough cash to move to the basement. So I built up my basement, and we operated out of my basement for a few years. But just last year, we were able to purchase and operate from our very own 12,000 square foot office building. Yeah, over near the Braves Stadium. We're big Braves fans. Because of the policies of this president, the economy is the strongest in my lifetime. But wait, maybe a little too strong when you consider the record low unemployment and how difficult it is to find employees. So we are hiring. Osprey is hiring. All right. To everyone listening, our future success depends on our ability to ignore the distractions we see on a daily basis. Participate in this economy. Take advantage of these policies. Don't sit on the sidelines because of emotions or feelings. Get in the game. As an Air Force veteran.
Let me tell you about the game, folks, he's talking about getting into. For those who caught the show earlier this morning, we talked about it. The game we're experiencing is an MMORPG in latency, meaning there's already massively strong players out there, and you just started your little account with a couple of bucks, a little bit of gold, maybe a couple of gems. You're going to fail. I'm not saying this to dissuade you or crush your little dreams. I'm trying to get you to refocus your energy on something that you can succeed in, and that's liberation. Let's continue.
I took advantage of your upgrade of VA health services, where I was able to see a private doctor due to an unreasonable appointment time. So in the words of Tuskegee Airman and Air Force General Benjamin O. Davis Jr., the privileges of being an American belong to those brave enough to fight for them. And to you, Mr. President, thank you. Thank you for being brave. Thank you. Thank you for making the Black community a priority. And thank you for fighting for all Americans. And this is why you will get our vote in 2020. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
He better watch his girl, man. Trump's like to grab him by the, well, you know where he likes to grab him.
I'm very, very short. Thank you to everyone here. Thank you, Mr. President. You are awesome. And I am continually inspired every day by my husband. He does great work, and owning a business is difficult. So I'm so proud, and thank you for your policies that make it easier. So Trump 2020.
Good job. Thank you, buddy. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Every day we're reversing ruinous trade policies that have shattered Black middle-class citizens. After the twin disasters of NAFTA and China's entrance into the World Trade Organization, which was a horrible thing for us, 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs held by African Americans were totally gone. They were extinguished. In the last 3 decades, Milwaukee lost 27% of all manufacturing jobs. Cleveland lost 42%. Dayton lost 44%. Philadelphia lost 74%. But under this administration, the days of shipping American jobs and wealth to foreign countries, it's over. It's ended.
No, stop. Stop the madness and stop the lying. Those jobs are never coming back. They're gone, folks. I tell you. You've been replaced by robots. You've been replaced by cheaper labor on foreign shores. That's the game, damn it. As long as we live in this predatory capitalistic society, that something or someone must be exploited so we can pass on the savings to the consumer. And you're always going to get this mess. It's either liberation or death. Slowly, slow death, drawn out death, or liberation.
Coming back here. They're all coming back. It's happening. You see it. 10,000 plants are being opened in the United States, or have been since we took over. 60,000 have been lost prior to that. Think of that. 60,000. On behalf of African Americans and all Americans.
Oh, I got this. This is from Brother K Jr. At least he's not talking about hot sauce. Yesterday, Elizabeth Warren was talking about she prefers Popeye's chicken. I'll be damned. See, that's the Democrats. That's their stick, man. When they come around us, all of a sudden, it's about hot sauce and chicken wings. When they're not around us, it's all about aborted black fetuses and keeping us in their congressional districts. You better wake up and realize a lot of the hood is the hood because the people who represent that, because all the hoods have congressmen and women. They don't want those people to come up and leave their area, and then they have to fight for their next election, truly compete. This is what I mean by the change of hats. Fuck what a person looks like. Focus on what they say and what they act like.
Americans, we're now putting America first. It's a really good thing. We've had it. In other words, we've had it, right? We're standing up to the decades of chronic Chinese trading abuses and replacing the NAFTA catastrophe with a brand new USMCA, a giant victory for the farmers and ranchers and manufacturers from coast to coast. The do-nothing Democrats, which is what they are. I've come up with that name. I don't think they like it too much, but who cares? They're do-nothings. All they do is waste their time instead of doing things that they could. They're just going, let's impeach him. We can't beat him. How about the guy? We can't beat him, so let's impeach him. Did you see that one? He was a beauty. We can't beat him. Let's impeach him. Good idea. The do-nothing Democrats are blocking a vote on the USMCA. Nancy Pelosi, she's blocking the vote. She doesn't want the vote to take place because they would rather hurt their political opponents than help their black constituents. That's what it is. Under my administration, we've added nearly 10,000 new factories in just 3 years, and we're just getting started. Tremendous numbers are coming in. Everybody wants to be in the USA. You know, we're the hot place. We're the hottest economy by far anywhere in the world. To keep jobs in America, I withdrew the United States from the disastrous, job-killing Paris Climate Accord. The only one upset about it in the whole country was Paris Denard. I mean, even you like it, Paris, right? Okay, he said he liked it. Good. Democrats want to invest in green global projects. I want to invest in Black American communities. So true. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's 16. It's great. 16 more years. And they'll go back. See, I told you he wants to be a dictator. These people are crazy. To revitalize distressed neighborhoods, we created 9,000 opportunity zones. Tim Scott of South Carolina was incredible on that, including 26 right here in Atlanta. 8 million African Americans live in opportunity zones, yet every Democrat voted against giving these Black citizens the future they deserve. The Republicans got it passed. Not easy. We had no votes from Democrats. And now the Democrats are saying we made a big mistake, but they're never going to admit that publicly, I can guarantee you. But they were totally against it. But we had tremendous help. I said Tim Scott was so incredible. Your senators were incredible, David and Johnny. And it's been incredible. Nobody ever thought that could happen to the extent it's happened. It has revitalized areas and created jobs like nobody thought would be possible. To draw investment to these impoverished communities, we slashed the capital gains tax and opportunity zones to zero because people are coming in with very,
Man, do you hear the code, y'all? Opportunity zones. So if there's only 9,000 opportunity zones, then that means the rest of the country is a non-opportunity zone. Do you understand? And we're only setting them up in the hood. So once again, you keep your ass in the hood, keep voting for the people who represent the shit, and you're going to keep on getting the same fucking results. If you want liberty, if you want freedom, you got to get out from underneath the yoke of looking towards government as your savior. We really should be living in a situation, no matter who's in office, it does not personally affect you. The government should only be governing the corporations, ensuring that they're doing right by the consumer and the people that they're getting the resources from. But they got it all flipped the script, right? Corporations have rights. They're people too, correct? But the people are nothing more than employees to the greater corporation, the greater company, the country. Let's continue.
what would have been high risk money, and now they're coming in and.
Oh, before we continue, there's the birthday boy. Our birthday man. I don't want to use that word boy, especially in the what we're talking about. The birthday man, Coach Abdullah. Happy birthday to you, brother.
They're thrilled, and they're coming in with more and more. Money is now pouring into, and property values have skyrocketed coming into the communities, and values are up 20%, 25, 30%. Today, we're glad to be joined by Paul Morrow, a proud Army veteran, great person, and a small business owner in Selma, Alabama. He's building a new concrete plant in an opportunity zone in Montgomery to help.
And you know what? For those of you guys who never worked in a concrete plant, one of the key ingredients of concrete is a little element called lime. And I ain't talking about limes that you put in your damn drink. I'm talking about white powdery chalk. Smells like fucking a cow's butthole. It's just disgusting. There's your opportunity. Get down there in that concrete and bust out some blocks. Because we fixing to make a private prison, y'all.
Support the future home of the brand new F-35 fighter jets. And I'll be in Alabama tomorrow watching a football game. That'll be a good game. That would be a good game, I think. So what happened to Georgia? Not in the game, but your team's doing well, right? Doing well. But we'll be there tomorrow. Hey, Paul, come on up. Say a few words, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I came ready for this one. We're going to make it clear. I'm not a politician. I'm just a regular human being from Alabama. The beans and okra fields. And I'm a
Now, I don't care what this man's about ready to say. I'm going to tell you right now, he has a good heart. This man named Paul right here, he has a good heart. And he sincerely, I'm telling you unequivocally, he sincerely believes what he's about ready to say. So I will shut up and we will play what he has to say uninterrupted, only out of respect for his sincerity.
Make it clear that I got my PhD degree in the corn fields in Planterville, Alabama. That's a little town right outside of Selma, Alabama. Now I'm standing in the airspace on the same stage with Donald Trump. The President of the United States of America. And see right behind us, Stars and Stripes.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I wanted to, but I can't. I can't allow. Right behind them, folks, is a corporation flag that was adopted for this country. It's the colors of the East Indian Trading Company. Now, I know he's happy. He came from the corn and okra fields, and now he's standing next to a man that is the president of the United States. True enough. What the hell? Let's just let him say it.
The American flag. And I always thought about the republic of which it stands. And I thank God today we are one nation. Okay, I'm going to give you a little history here, past history of SDAC and what it stands for. It's SDAC, that stands for South Dade Air Conditioning. Yeah, this is a little community-based air conditioning repair company out of Homestead, Florida. It was originated back in 1985. And we went through Andrews and different things there. And right after Andrew, we became known. And then I found a reason to increase to become a war fighter. And they did a war against unemployment. So I got my 8A, back in 2009. And we grew, we went on and, we created a lot of jobs, created a lot of opportunity for other people and stuff. And, then the recession hit, it was, the recession didn't take no hostages. It kind of got everybody. But anyway, I found myself about $750,000 in debt. That kind of filtered on down, to almost over $1 million point something. But it's found a reason, through, God, what he do. He forced me back to Alabama, which I had a sick mother there. And when I got there, I met a former football player, Auburn football player. His name Reed McMillan. He was a fullback. But me and Reed united, and we did some things in Alabama, in Selma, Alabama, that's incredible. We got some of the most valuable jobs ever been created down in Selma, Alabama. And, I have to say that about Reed. I know he's going to probably beat me up, but Reed is one of the grandsons, I think, of one of the firefighters that had the hoses in his hand back in 1965. Now Reed working for me, and we create opportunities. So that speaks volume for Reed.
Wait, I take it this Reed guy is a white guy then? If his granddaddy was the firefighter with the hose?
So by meeting with Reed, I was able to bridge that gap from the $175,000 in debt on down to maybe, close a couple $1 million in debt. In 2017, I made the Business Person of the Year award winner. Came here in Washington, D.C. and met with, the administration, same administration. Can't count them out. So right now, we are in a different phase in life. We done found a new era. The new administration era, geared in by, Mr. Donald Trump. They done created what they call it, the OZ, Opportunity Zone. And Mr. Donald Trump.
Funny, the OZ was called something else back in Vietnam.
I had one lawyer, administrative person. His name Ashley Bell. Ashley then found a robbery to come down to Homestead, Florida, and come down to Selma, Alabama, and meet with my crew. And you know how it is when you got somebody from the White House coming to your business. You know, we was all excited, and everybody was, you know, overly excited about having one of Donald Trump's, the President of the United States, staff member to come to see us.
Sister Barbara, they grow these people on trees down there. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean to say that. Politically incorrect. Please, YouTube, do not demonetize this video just because of one slip up of the tongue.
But anyway, it happened that once Ashley got there, he was more impressed about what we were doing already. I got about 6 different millionaires hanging off my sleeve here, businesses that we done created through the, you know, through the 8A program and other stuff that we got them doing now. So right now, me and Reed McMillan, yeah, we taking that back to the next level. You know, I just purchased the first 275 acres of a 400-acre plot in the new opportunity zone. And you heard the president talking about the opportunities and the
Whoever thought it was a good idea to have Dude here as a public speaker needs to be allowed to do one more reservation, and then they should have the shit smacked out of him. This guy, I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm seriously, he has that vibe about him. You can tell he's a great guy. Not so great on public speaking, you know, and fuck it, I'm a public speaker. I've done it before. This guy is not doing it to where it's compelling. It's really hard to listen to this dude.
Resources that became available. Now, see, I hit it pretty strong, you know, through some of the help of Mr. Ashley Bell. And I done, you know, generally, you know, got the president's, one of his professional team that came down, and I done happened to master it as a small businessman in New Opportunity Zone thing. And we done had a 100% growth pattern over the last 4 years. But projectedly now, we don't have a 200% growth pattern over the next 18 months because of the New Opportunity Zone thing. So this is the new era for SDAC. This is the new vision. And say, I got y'all here. I can say hello to this audience, you know. I can say hello to the nation. And I know somebody in the world elsewhere looking at me today. So I'm say hello to the world. And while I got y'all here, I can't speak about the State of the Union for the nation. But I can say the State of the Union for SDAC is strong. Strong. And in my closing, I'm gonna say, God bless the United States President, Mr. Donald Trump. God bless SDAC and the new opportunity and the new job that we're about to create down in Selma, Alabama. And God bless America.
Wow. Thank you, Paul. What a job. I think he enjoyed that too, right? He's doing so well in the concrete business, I don't think he wants to be a politician. You want to be a politician? I don't think so. What a great job. Thank you very much. And that's from the heart too, by the way.
I don't think so. Trump, President Trump. You want to be a politician? Okay. Yeah, you would love to run against that guy.
After my election, I heard from countless African-American leaders. They asked me to get involved in a cause.
Wow. Man, Brother Junior's, K Junior's on fire today. He needs to tell us how to get those loans and resources. $750K in debt, then just bankruptcy the corporation. Yeah, brothers. I'm totally sensing the boule in the force. I sense a boule user.
That is dear to many of them in this room right now. I see so many of you it was so important to you. That's criminal justice reform. And last year, with the help of Jared, where is Jared? He's right here. Stand up, Jared.
Is Jared making a sandwich? Foot long, Jared. Foot long.
Jared was incredible. I proudly signed bipartisan criminal justice reform into law. They've been trying to do it for many, many, many years.
Yeah, the sad thing about it, in order to have a reform, that means you have to have criminal injustice cracking. This is what this picture's all about, yeah. While America's over here sleeping, wet dreaming it, the money, China's sneaking on by. They're actually making genetically augmented human beings while we're over here. Yeah, we got a new company. Yeah, oh, number one. Oh, number one.
They never came close, including the last administration. I don't know if they tried actually, but they did try. They didn't try even. And that's, you know why they didn't try? Because they knew they weren't going to get it. That's probably a big reason why. But it's called the First Step Act. Roll back the unjust provisions of the 1994 Clinton crime law, which was so unfair to your community, which severely and disproportionately harmed African American people. We're also advancing second chance hiring to get rehabilitated citizens with a criminal record back to the job. What are the things we have going for?
How is that going to work? No, seriously, how in the fuck is that going to work with the type of jobs y'all talking about fucking putting up? Because most of those Walmart workers, most of those Kmart workers have to get food stamps and welfare to supplement their basic needs. And we all know, and for you uninitiated who don't know, if you're a felon, especially a drug felon, you cannot get any government assistance. From HUD to Medicaid or Medicare or whatever the fuck, to food stamps and the whole rest of it. So now you're supposed to get these convicts. Hello, sir. Would you like a fry with that burger? I'm guarantee you, you're going to have some hungry, pissed off workers. And y'all ain't going to be doing nothing but eating a bunch of boogers and cum. This is what this shit's all about. So while we're sitting here talking this so stupid shit, China's marching on. India marching on. Russia marching on. South Africa really marching on. And Brazil. Kind of in South Africa's boat, but steadily marching forward. By the way, that's the brick through our glass fucking ceiling.
We're so good. The economy is so good that we're given chances today that frankly years ago you wouldn't have. And people are so happy. Employers, people that pay the check every week, they're so happy with the result. They can't believe that they looked at it as an opportunity. Where has this been for 30 years? Why haven't we been doing this for so long? When we say hire American, we mean hire all Americans. That's what we mean. And we're also restoring safety to America's great cities. In the 2 years before my election, murders were up by more than 20% nationwide. In the last 2 years, murders in America's major cities have dropped by more than 10%. And
you know ways of why? Think about it. If 20% of motherfuckers killing motherfuckers, that means half of them are dead. So of course it's going to drop by 10%, or basically 50%.
Protect the cherished role of historically black colleges and universities, we increase federal funding for HBCUs by over $100 million.
That ain't shit. The Federal Reserve is pumping in $87 to $197 billion into the economy every day. Last month in October. And he's talking about 100 million. Jesus, folks, come on, man. We got to get these numbers and put them in correct perspective.
They do a great job.
Yes, Brother Abdullah. HBCs are Boule headquarters and training facilities. They produce a Boule vanguard that purposefully oppresses and sets up members in the community. And that's why you won't have any really strong so-called black leadership or any other type of leadership. They've got boules for every little group out there. There's gay boules, there's black boules, boule. This country runs on treachery. That's what it's about.
They do a great job, and some needed some help, frankly, but they do a great job. We can't lose them. But as we're delivering results for African Americans, the hard left Democrats have been busy doing absolutely nothing for you. For over 3 straight years, they've been obsessed with one single delusional goal: overturning the votes of the 2016.
No, stop it, Trump. They've only been concerned with the gay agenda. Let's be real. He won't say it, I will. For the last 3 years, they've been consumed with impeaching this feller here and ensuring a man has the right to boo-foo another man, and everyone should applaud them for being so brave for engaging in such perversion. That's what they've been working on.
Election that we had. And really, if you think about it, overturning American democracy.
Oh, that word is vile to me. Brother. Okay. Brother Junior. On the Republican plantation, all must work. Isn't that the truth? All must work. If you don't work, you don't eat.
First, it was the Russia hoax. Then it was the Mueller report. The biggest lie ever perpetrated upon the American people, Russia. Give me a break. Well, I felt a little bit better because I see 2 weeks ago, right? Hillary Clinton said, Jill Stein, a greenie, she was a greenie, it's okay. The head of the Green Party, right? Ran against Hillary, right? Paris. And that Tulsi Gabbard, I don't know Tulsi Gabbard, but she said that they're Russian operatives, that they're involved with Russia. Now, I don't know either of these women, but I know they're not involved with Russia. When they said it about me, it took me 2 years to get out of it. It took them 2 minutes. People said, we think she's nuts at this point. Now Democrats and the media have launched, and they are partners, you know that, the deranged, hyper-partisan impeachment witch hunt, a sinister effort to nullify the ballots of 63 million patriotic Americans. Not happening, by the way. It's failing. It's failing fast. It's all a hoax. It's all a hoax. It's failing fast. Democrats are willing to destroy the foundations of our society and the pillars of our justice system and judicial system in their craven pursuit of power and money.
Imagine a man with a fake skin complexion calling out other people for fake journalism. Fake, recognize fake.
Imagine if Democrats just put 10% of the energy they devote to attacking me and my administration to instead making this a better country for African American citizens. Can you imagine what they could do?
No. Because the fact that we have to differentiate between citizens by skin color, yet again should tell us that we haven't moved forward. You can throw up how many white power symbols you want. You can say how many kind words you want. You can bring up all the people you want. But the reality is, as long as you're categorizing people like this and you're showing that there is a symptom to a problem, but never address the problem, never address years of indoctrination by people who are in positions of power, utilizing that position to maintain a social stranglehold on a segment of population, then all you're really doing is basically smelling farts and saying, oh my God, this is the best smell ever. Let's continue.
They don't care, but we do. Okay, that's really the truth. And I think you're learning that quickly. We're all learning that. With Republicans in Congress, we are fighting for school choice. We believe that in America, no parent should ever be forced to send their child out the door to a failing government school. Shouldn't happen.
Boom! Boom! Did you hear what he called? See, I always say government school, but I'm being sarcastic and all that. Government schools is a code word for those who are on the fringe, usually racially motivated, and it ultimately goes back to the hatred for the United States federal government for whipping the fucking shit out of the Confederate rebels. He just threw up a big time code right there. Government schools. Remember that.
Shouldn't happen. Today's Democrat Party has no ideas about how to help Black Americans. They only want to really use radical socialism, and they want to open your borders so anybody can come in. You're here, anybody can come in. And they have some bad people wanting to come in, really bad people. We've really strengthened up the borders, as you know, and if we had some help from them, we need some votes to get rid of loopholes. They have loopholes. They're called loopholes. Democrats want to give welfare and free health care to illegal aliens, courtesy of you, the American taxpayer, and the African American community. Republicans,
but unless I'm doing this for clarification and gravity, allow you folks in the Black community who are not getting food stamps, welfare, whatever, and you know you need it, you might want to check your criminal status. If you are a drug felon, then you already know, friend, you get no consideration. Period.
Believe that public benefits should be protected for American citizens. For the money that we spend on illegal aliens, we could completely rebuild our inner cities, repair our crumbling infrastructure, and fix our terrible public schools that are in terrible shape. But instead, Democrats want to redistribute your wealth all over the entire world to places that you've never even heard of before. Every day, Democrat sanctuary cities are releasing dangerous criminal aliens and gang members like MS-13 onto your streets. Republicans believe our cities should be sanctuaries for law-abiding Americans, not criminal aliens.
You know, it's not so much the drug gangs that you need to be concerned about. It's these cult gangs that are in our police force, these cult gangs that are in the military, these cult gangs that are in political power. That's the true danger.
Last year, Democrats even shut down the government to preserve benefits for illegal immigrants. Never have they fought that hard to do anything for the African American community. They don't fight that way. I see them, I'm with them. They don't fight for the African American community. They would rather have illegal aliens come in, healthcare, schools. I jokingly said once, Rolls Royces, every illegal immigrant gets a Rolls Royce. And the media said, Donald Trump exaggerated. He said they all get Rolls Royces. This is a lie. These people are the worst. No, they don't give them Rolls Royces, just short of Rolls. They give them just short of the Rolls Royce, right? Democrats care more about illegal aliens than African American citizens, or our military, or citizens all over the place. They care more. Under Democrat politicians, African Americans become, and they have become, really, they've become forgotten, literally forgotten Americans.
Until there's somebody that, you know, we want to shoot at a stop sign, or until it's somebody that we just want to abuse because we're having a bad day, or if it's just somebody, you know, that we want to shove, you know, drugs up their backside and go up in them, then the Democrats have something for us.
But under my administration, you've seen what we've been able to do because they are forgotten no longer, right? Radical Democrats are waging an all-out assault on the historic values and traditions of the Black community. They're trying to attack law enforcement heroes and keep us safe. These are people that keep us safe. There's nothing wrong with that. We want safety. Because when I read that list of 10, one of the things is it's the most unsafe. The African American community is so, the numbers are different like you wouldn't believe. We want to be safe. They want to take away your right to self-defense, crush your religious liberty.
Man, come on, let's be real. In some of these jukey ass little towns, as a black man, you go walking through there with a gun, you might as well just say, hey, shoot me now. First thing they do after they shoot somebody, oh, was he armed? And if he's armed, heaven help you. Oh, well, he probably had it coming. See, we keep on talking about these damn symptoms, but we're never talking about the disease. We're not talking about what put these people in the ghetto, what put these people in a very unsafe, unsavory neighborhood. What mechanics, what system, what plan perpetrated on them got them to the position that they are in today. And you may call this, oh, stop being a victim, blah, blah, blah. It's not of being a victim when you're stating the fix in the game.
And silence your pastors. Pastors are being silenced, but not any longer because of the Johnson Amendment. The Johnson Amendment. They're allowed to speak to you now. They're allowed, your pastors and your ministers are allowed to speak to you now without retribution. African American churches have always been lifted up, and they've always been really the conscience of our nation. Yet Democrats now want to drive faith out of the public square and attack Christians and other religious believers. That's what they're doing. They have gone crazy. Okay? They really are. It's what's going on out there is crazy. As your president, I will always cherish our nation's religious heritage. We will always cherish that. It means
like the Mormon heritage. You know the reason why Mormons really hate black people, gal? It's because in their religious tradition, it was the black angel that wouldn't help fight against Satan's angels. So God put a special curse on the black folks. Just so happens it was during the time of slavery, so that makes it okay to own a black person because the angels, the black angels, as if black people came from angels, didn't fight against Satan. Come on, this is some of the weakest shit ever.
So much, when you look at things that are happening, a lot of it is because they've lost that incredible grounding, especially the vital and indispensable role of African American churches in our society. Incredible.
Yes, and we saw them in action. Remember the riots in Ferguson? Oh, come on, you out now on the bill. Come on, you out now. I need y'all to be okay. So this Sunday, y'all can put in that collection plate because I got to make a payment on this Mercedes Benz. Yes, they serve a role. They serve a role and a wing. Let's play it.
We have some ministers here and some pastors here. You heard from one. He's an incredible man. But we have some ministers, pastors, and others that are people that we all look up to, and their voice has to be heard. They have to be heard. They're trying to take that voice away. It won't happen. Don't worry, it won't happen. So don't worry too much about it.
Yeah,
don't lose any sleep tonight, okay? Virtually every top Democrat also now supports late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb, right up until the moment of birth. And then you have the governor of Virginia, where it was after birth.
Absolutely. Hold on. We got a new person here in chat. Robin, welcome to the show. Peace and power to you. Yes, absolutely. Trump 2020. I don't have no problem saying I'm going to vote for this clown. I have zero problem. Because what's the alternative? If I don't vote for Trump, who am I going to vote for? I'm going to vote for Warren? Huh? The chick who likes to dress up as Pocahontas? Am I going to vote for handsy Joe Biden? I had enough of him underneath Obama's regime. Oh, maybe I'm going to vote for the ancient Bernie Sanders. No reparations for you blacks, but Jew reparations, absolutely. The only person who I would vote for, but he's not getting any airplay, is Brother Yang. Andrew Yang. I would vote for him because he talks sense. He talks reason. I don't care if he's Asian. I don't care if he was Jewish. I wouldn't care if he was white. I wouldn't care whatever because he makes the most sense. And out of all the political candidates right now we have to choose from, as if we really elected the president to begin with, sadly enough, Trump makes the most sense in a political sense. And in fact, all you brothers and sisters who wants tangibles, I hate to tell you, there's a reason why the Democrats don't give a fuck about us no more. It's because they got a new voting bloc. It's called gays and it's called Hispanics. And with those two forces combined, the Negro vote means nothing. You don't have to go to no more fish fries. You don't have to hear any more of their complaints or grievances. And that's what it's all about. You have been replaced, brothers and sisters, straight up.
Afterbirth. That's evil. That's why I've asked Congress to prohibit extreme late-term abortion, because Republicans believe that every child is a sacred gift from God. Okay? To every African American across our land, you don't have to choose to leave the Democrat Party, because the Democrat Party already left you a long time ago. It's true. They left you. Well, they come back before elections for a few months, but that's about it. If you don't want to have radical socialism, that's what you don't want. If you don't want open borders, if you don't want out of control political correctness, how about some of this political correctness, right?
Yeah, you can't even run around here and call black man a nigger no more. I just don't understand. Political correctness is about keeping the public dignity and peace, isn't it? I mean, yeah, in your own home, you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want. But if you go out on the streets and you start talking crazy, and then all of a sudden you want to run to the cops for protection, that's an issue. Because all the power on earth, whether you want to accept it or not, does not need to be validated by you, comes from words. Words are the power. Words are the instrument. Words are the tools that you use to build your reality. And words from others, and I don't care how strong-minded you may think you are, or how strong physically, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about spiritual things. Now, words from others can either be constructive or destructive. That's a part of keeping the public peace. And dignity is self-evident. If I run around here calling your mom a whore and your dad a bastard in public, there should be some consequences I should have to face, because I'm putting out a lot of negative energy that is only there to cause you sorrow or mental anguish. It's an attack. Now, am I all about PC? No, I'm not actually. I'm pretty anti-PC for the most part. But the way I'm anti-PC is I want the truth to be spoken. Now, I don't think I should run around here calling homosexuals faggots, or black people niggers, or Jewish people kikes, or Mexican people spicks, or any of that. I don't believe in that. But that's my personal choice. And I believe that you're out there and you're in some sort of jewelry store and you're like, damn, these kikes have such high prices, and you get blasted in the fucking nose, you have that shit coming. You go to a taco stands and you start talking crazy, man, I can't stand these spicks all up, and you get beat the fuck down. You have that shit coming. You go over there to the chicken and waffle joint and you walk in that mug and like, look at all these goddamn niggers. Bam, you got that shit coming. But to be able to be our leader of everybody and say you want to be able to talk crazy and there should be no consequences, please, dude. Please. Let's continue.
If you don't want your jobs going overseas, if you don't want your children trapped,
then you better jump your ass in a time machine, because the shit done already happened.
in failing schools, if you don't want liberal extremists to run your lives, then today we say, welcome to the Republican Party.
Yeah, where you'll have conservative ideologues run every aspect of your life. Because, see, here's the plan. Here's the game, y'all. Here's both sides of the fence. No matter if it's a so-called conservative or a so-called liberal, they're still governing you personally. Now, you can vote whomever makes you feel good. But at the end of the day, you just voted in the puppet that the real puppet masters, the real people who run this damn show, is going to use to oppress you slowly, but they'll do it gently.
Honest Abe, right? Honest Abe. Now and always, Republicans are the party of Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, the Civil Rights Act, and hardworking American patriots of every race, religion, color, and creed. The Republican Party knows that our rights, liberties, and freedoms are given to us by the hand of Almighty God.
No, by the hand of Almighty Congress. God didn't write the Civil Rights Act. God didn't do any of the things he just said, contribute other than maybe allow for Abraham Lincoln to swim up his mom's fallopian tube and, fertilize that egg like a beast and pop out about 9-10 months later. But the rest of all that shit's man-made. So is hate. So is misogyny. So is racism. So is predatory corporate lending, redlining. So is the CIA bringing in crack into the community. All that shit's man-made. Now, y'all can try to throw that shit on the Most High if you want to, but only the ignorant will fall for that one. Like I said before, damn it, and I will say it again. As long as you good women and men out here who can hear my voice absolutely do nothing, or worse yet, you guys bow down to your so-called leaders, nothing's going to change because your leaders are all corrupted and co-opted. Every last one of them. But no, true, my senator's this, maybe that first term, but halfway through, he's going to get that knock. Hello, my name is Peter Swerf, and I'm with the Tobacco Lobbyist Group, and we want to give your community an outreach program to quit smoking the children, right? Let me show you how this plays out. Kids, we want to talk to you guys about not smoking. Well, what's smoking? Well, smoking is when and then it goes right on down the road. If you want liberties, you want freedom, then that means you truly want a chance to succeed or fail. You don't need an opportunity zone. No, you just need a nation where haters are not tolerated. You don't need after-school programs, basketball, football. No, you just need a competent mother and father that can instill things into a child that they can use to better their lives. Now let's continue.
Guided by that immortal truth, Republicans are fighting for incredible jobs, great schools, safe streets, fair laws, and a government that listens and answers to you, the American people.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the other day some white supremacist basically going on a rant about him, and he was like, yeah, good job.
When we talk about draining the swamp, we are talking about replacing the corrupt.
Man, it's not draining a swamp. Yeah, it's more like lancing a cyst.
To bureaucrats and politicians, crony lobbyists, brought and paid for, and you know that. They bring them in and they pay for them. They're disgracing really a class of people and a group of people. And I'm not talking African American. I'm talking all American. They're disgracing us as a nation.
Wait, why do you want to talk about all Americans? You've been talking to African Americans. African. No, don't forget, some black folks ain't even from Africa. Or Kemet, or Agoon, whatever you want to call it. The continent, motherland. The land of the queens, the land of the kings. But that's another topic, and we're going to be getting into that tomorrow. Let's continue.
They've dismissed you, they've hurt you, and they've sabotaged you for far too long. It's time to see what's happened over the last short period of time. We have a lot of great commentators in front. We have a lot of commentators actually in the back. We have a couple of really great commentators in the far back. What the hell are you doing back there?
He's eating a watermelon.
But they're great. And they get it. They know what's happening. And some of them didn't get it right at the beginning. They weren't, but they've seen what has happened over the last 3 years. But their day is over. Your day has just begun. Just begun. That's why we need everyone in this room. And
hold on. Time out, Robin. I want to read your comment. War mentality. People love conspiracies. It's very entertaining. Why you think CNN always on Trump? Because you guys love it and they get ratings. For one, we look at all sources of information here, Robin. I know you're new to the show and you're obviously a Trump supporter, which I don't knock you. You're patriotic. You love your country. This is what your country is and you love it. It could be a turd on a silver platter. You stick an American flag on that motherfucker, you're going to love it. I dig that. That shows you at least nothing else. You're loyal. You're loyal. There's nothing wrong with that. All I ask you, Robin, is to have an accurate and true understanding of what you're loving. If you love people who do what they did to people up there at Standing Rock or the pipeline situation in Dakota, where they just brushed the native Aboriginal people away. Fuck you people. We're going to bring this leaky ass pipe through your fucking... That'd be like them coming to your house, kicking in your front door. You and your neighbors try to protest. They bring in goons, keep the media away, brush your ass aside, and pump a fucking leaking oil pipe through your house. You wake up, you're slipping on oil slicks. You try to get a shower, fucking crude oil's coming out the faucet. And you do all this for why, Robin? Why does this occur? Because some corporate interests determine it's better to not pay motherfuckers a fair wage. We can pollute the motherfucking land and get this oil so you can put in your fucking car wage slave to get to your fucking job on whatever plantation you belong, whether it's McDonald's plantation, whether it's Boeing's plantation, whether it's even the civil servant plantation. That's the circle of oppression. That is indeed what we talk about on this particular show. This is not no Republican nor Democratic operation. The person who runs this program, which is you guys, the chatters, for the most part, if anything, you guys want liberty and you want real freedom. Liberty and freedom requires effort and requires a plan to ascertain, because it will not be given to you. You have to seize it.
And every like-minded voter nationwide to take part in our righteous campaign to extend blessings of all America to all of our citizens. We need you to share our message of jobs, opportunity, and freedom with everyone.
Your message, I had to translate this for the uninitiated. Well, he basically said jobs, he really meant wage slavery. When he says freedom, he really means no longer like on the old plantation where you had to give the slave a shirt, you had to give the slave pants, you had to give the slave shoes. No, they're free of all that shit, the corporations. An opportunity, what he really means is the legal ability to straight up oppress you by sucking away all your time. So you don't spend it with your children. No, you spend it with your real family, your supervisor, your foreman, your boss. Because you know everything about them, but you don't even know the people who you live with in that home when you get off work. That's what we talk about on this show. Let's continue.
And you know, we need you to reach out to your friends, your neighbors, your churches, and your communities, all of your communities, including your religious communities, which we're bringing back into our nation. We need them. So much has gone wrong. We need them.
Yeah, we need them. We need them to keep the riots that are going to be coming tamped down. We need them to give people a sense of false hope. We need them so people can be consumed with all the dogma and traditions of the religion instead of worrying about, if I spent, let's look at our lives. Let's say that you spent 20% of your adult life praying in whatever form. Praying for brand new shoes, praying for a new girlfriend, praying for whatever. Instead of being out there in the game and actually facilitating an environment for all that to occur. No, you rather wait for magic to basically take place. And it does. I'm not knocking that. But I'm just saying, on this issue of justice and true liberation, how many generations have to keep praying the same old prayers? How many mothers have to keep worrying in the bottom of their guts that their son might get murdered by some fucking race-hating, fucking anti-human traitor son of a bitch to the human race? How many fathers must worry that if they go over the speed limit coming home from work, they could potentially get fucking shot in the head reaching for their wallet to show the police officer their credentials? That's what we talk about on this show.
Tell them to judge us based on that and all that we've achieved. And we have achieved more than anybody has achieved ever in 3 years. And it hasn't been done on the smears from the media or the lies from those defending the old status quo. They want to defend it. They're defending their turf, but their turf is no good. Tell them that you are fierce and brave and proud and independent. Black voices for Trump.
Black votes matter. Black votes matter.
No, I can't tell you how much this whole community has grown. I don't know, Katrina, if I could have said that.
I'm going one step farther, War. I am for liberation of humanity, period. All human beings. Because the commonality of us supersedes whatever hybrids we may be cut with. Or not. But it's liberation for humanity. So that we can ascend to our rightful place in the cosmos.
Maybe 3-4 years ago, people would have, let's say it would have been a slightly smaller audience, but people are seeing what's happening. By the way, go out and join the Republican Party. Sign up. Join the Republican Party. Get all your friends. Go and join it. We're going to do things that nobody ever dreamt of for your community and for the country, but for your community. With your help and your devotion, America's future is really ours to build and build upon and make even greater than it is right now. America's destiny is really ours to reach. America's glory is ours to achieve. When my administration and millions of Black Americans join forces, we will be a totally unstoppable force. That's what's going to happen. And remember, the Democrats have let you down. You know, we're talking about over 100 years. We'll deliver a future of justice, opportunity, prosperity, and dignity to every man, woman, and child all across this incredible land. Our nation is thriving like never, ever before.
The boast before the fall.
We've never had an economy like this before in our history. And it does make things easier. But if our opponent had gotten in, this economy, instead of being up 60, 70%, would have been down 60 or 70%. And that's guaranteed. But we're thriving like never before. And ladies and gentlemen of the African American community, I just want to tell you very, very strongly, the best is yet to come. Really, best is yet to come.
Yes, it is. It's going to be a liberation. You guys might want to check out Operation Garden Plot. Because back during the Iran-Contra trials, when Colonel Ali Noor stood up and said, well, sir, we only have the capability of basically incarcerating or detaining about 13% of the population. I guarantee you the population he's talking about is the African American population. That's what they spelled out in the papers. So keep on thinking this is a game. Keep on thinking it's a joke. Keep on thinking one side loves you while the other side hates you. I'm telling you, both sides fucking hate your guts. And not just you, black man. You too, poor white man. You too, poor Asian man. You too, poor Latin man. You too, fucking poor whatever human being you claim to be. And you might as well throw in the lower upper class and the higher middle class into that boat now too. You guys will soon get your Negro wake-up call when inflation surpasses even your resources limitations. America, the United States, is in the process of closing out. And like any corporation, before you close out, you know, like how those old furniture stores and mattress stores, hey, this weekend's a big blowout, right? And then next week, there's another store, another mattress store, right at the same location, different name, same shit. That's what's planned for this nation. Liquidate all the debt. We used all the debt to make all these weapons and systems for destruction. So to avoid paying that shit back for real, dissolve that corporation and move on. Form another corporation and keep at it. Another country and keep at it. Because until you all wake up and realize, no matter how hard you wage slave, no matter how bruised and dusty your knees are from being down there praying all day long, all night, no matter how kind and intelligent you are, these people will forever hate your fucking guts. They only look at you as a commodity to exploit. They only look at you as a resources to plunder. They'll zap you of your time. They'll zap you of your strength. And when you're old and feeble, that's when they'll send in the nurse or doctor with that needle. And then you'll be out. Let's see what our president has left, and then we'll be concluding this broadcast.
So I want to thank all of my friends. I have a lot of them that came to see. I want to thank the people outside that couldn't get in because next time we'll do a much bigger room. Next time we're going to do a much bigger room. But you're very, very, very special people. And I want to...
Yeah, special like education. We like baseball,
I congratulate you all because what has happened in the last 3 years for the Black community, the African American community, has been really incredible. And it is my honor to have been there with you. And we're going to work together. And we're going to achieve together. And we're going to succeed together. Thank you all very much. Thank you. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you.
All right. Now, while they're continuing their wet dream, we're number one. We're number one. This picture here should illustrate what's really going on. While we're over here low to sleep, they're creeping by. You know, I feel like sometimes I'm that guy that was in England prior to World War I, saying, hey, guys, look, our little empire that the sun never sets on, we're about ready to have an empire that the sun never rises up on. Same thing's true for us. Unless we get with righteousness and true justice for all. There's no reason in the world why we should be straight up torturing people in Guantanamo Bay. We don't torture people. Remember when we were kids, that's the shit the Russians did. That's the shit the Chinese did. The Viet Congs do that shit. Nope. Wrong. So as we go down this rabbit hole further and further, it's going to be harder to differentiate between the good guys and the bad guys once you're privy to all the pertinent information. Because until the United States of America does right by the descendants of slaves, by the disinherited, dispossessed Native Aboriginal people, by the women that was there preparing the meals and tending the babies and keeping homes, until we do right by those three specific groups of people, then in reality, this system is just as evil and just as wicked as the Nazis, as Genghis Khan, as Papa Duck.
Dad, I don't in that room.
Okay, now, this will include TPIM SR Live. Today's date, November 8, 2019. Live your life of integrity without hate, envy, or greed. As always, brothers and sisters, let's please try to be kinder to each other. Peace and power, unity and respect. I'm out. Liberation. Yes, the studio audience is having a breakdown. Check me out tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on Saturday. Have a guest coming, Brother Shannon. We're going to have a great conversation. Join me tomorrow. Peace.